whoop, whoop. It's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. It's the ambulance.
I hope no one's listening to this in their car because they're going to think they're getting pulled over. Or they're having a heart attack because here comes the ambulance.
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 Yeah. How do you pronounce this?
Ambulance.
Oh, it's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Los Angelesans.
Well, it's ambu for ambulance, LA for Los Angeles, and is because it gets intense.
That's pretty funny. You're
Thanks.
Welcome to Mega Strange, everybody. Theme song.
Theme song.
We don't have theme song.
Before I get too far into it, I just want to. This is unrelated to ambulance. I had Amazon deliver some drinks.
Did they ship one can of soda to you?
They randomly didn't use any packaging this last time, so they were putting literally shipping labels on the cans, and I had to rip off half this label in an effort to not be doxxed as I drank this. It's Zevia's version of Dr. Pepper, and then I thought, you thought the opening was funny. I thought I had an even funnier gag, Doxter Pepper. Anyway, we're gonna move on and talk about Michael Bay's Ambulance. Ambulance. I think we have time for one more bit.
We can keep it going. We got tons of bits. So, we should do bits because other than that, what are we going to fill this show with? Content?
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
Today, we're watching Ambulance. This was my pick. And I have a guilty pleasure. I like movies that are... The idea is so dumb, it shouldn't be a movie.
Sure.
And that's a whole genre of movies.
Yep.
Phone booth.
Yep.
Guy stuck in a phone booth for over an hour, and if he gets out, a guy will kill him.
Yep.
That's dumb. 127 hours.
Yeah.
James Franco got his hand stuck in a rock the whole movie.
Yeah.
He can't get his hand out of the rock. And so when I heard about Ambulance, the whole movie takes place in an ambulance, I was there.
Yep.
This is a Michael Bay film, and I didn't realize this was a remake of a movie. Did you know that?
They said something. I watched the behind the scenes, and they said something about a French film.
I believe it's Dutch, actually.
Oh, maybe. Is that what it was? Maybe. Okay.
But yeah, let's say it's a European movie. It's a foreign film from 2017. Mm-hmm. Same title. Maybe I should have watched that movie. I don't.
Yeah.
I never get when they. There's this movie from Europe that's really good.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it here. Same title. And it just came out like a year ago.
Yeah.
We're just going to remake. I always feel like...
Make it for us.
I was like, if it just came out a year ago, why don't you just play the one from Europe? Like, I...
That's an outdated thought process. I think 20 or 30 years ago, maybe it's like, well, people aren't going to watch this foreign film. We better do our own. Maybe that was justifiable. Now it's not. Now the number one show was Squid Game at one point. Like, that was a Korean TV show. You know what I mean? It's like we're not those lines aren't there anymore. Parasite won Best Picture. You know what I mean? It's like no one
for
cares.
real.
Yeah.
If the attitude is like, well, nobody's gonna watch this ambulance action movie unless they recognize Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree with that. But then again, I didn't watch the Dutch version. Maybe it sucks.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's like, damn, this really needs Jake Gyllenhaal.
We do talk about that, how it's like, hey, if you're going to remake stuff that had a good concept but didn't work, So maybe that's what happened. You never know. I remember having the same feeling, though, with Let the Right One In. Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in theaters. What country was that? What country was that from? I can't remember.
I think that was like Sweden or something.
Yeah, something like that. I saw that in theaters. Thought it was great, and then immediately it was like, let me in. We did it. We made it American. It was like, I'm good. I just saw that.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with it.
And I think the probably biggest grievance or case of this is the movie Old Boy, which is like the movie Old Boy, the original one, is a landmark film. Yeah. Like, that changed cinema. The way people viewed like Korean cinema just the scenes, and there are such iconic scenes in that movie that you watch that movie one time, you're like, damn, I'll never forget that movie. And then they remade it with Josh Brolin, like Spike Lee directed it, and nobody cared.
It did improve it, but no one watched it.
People were like, this movie already exists.
I still have not seen Old Boy.
I haven't either, actually.
Oh yeah, we're both talking.
wait. You've not seen the original?
The original, yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's what, because I was like, we're both talking about how it's a classic, but
no. All right. Next time I have a movie club pick, we're gonna watch Old Boy.
Okay.
We're gonna watch the original, and then we'll watch the remake.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite movies. Even though it's full disclosure, it's a fucked up movie that has some psychological shit in it. So that's all we'll say. But that's enough about Old Boy. We're here talking about Ambulance.
See, I pick stuff like Mac and Me, and I get demonized. But you're picking psychological. I don't know. I'm trying to balance it out, guys. I'm trying.
Mac, I hope you enjoyed that soda. Do you know what it really was? Anyways, moving on. So I picked Ambulance, and I watched Ambulance, honestly, 2.5, 3 months ago. I watched this movie when it came out, when it was a new release. And hey, full disclosure to everybody out there watching at home, we plan these way ahead of time. Sometimes we're behind schedule. But I told these guys 2 months ago, hey, I watched Ambulance. I think for an upcoming movie club, we should do Ambulance.
Yeah.
And usually the longest I'll have to wait to do a movie is 3 weeks. Like, oh, you just did a pick, Derek, so we'll do Sean's movie this week. We'll do Rocco movies next week, and then we'll do Ambulance in 3 weeks. But for whatever reason, we had all of these events happening, Anime Expo, Comic-Con. We had to, film some stuff. We took a couple weeks off from movie club. It's been 8 or 10 weeks since I saw Ambulance.
Yeah. You know what really disrupted it? Genuinely, COVID wrecked our movie club schedule because that happened.
Oh, yeah. I got COVID.
Yeah, and then it was it just turned into well, we had to skip this one, you got to skip this one, and then that event happened. It turned the whole schedule into, even right now, Sean is out, he doesn't have COVID, but it just it disrupted the whole year. So stay safe out there, guys. It's not worth it. If you got a movie club, it's gonna fuck it up.
Stay safe, or you might end up in an ambulance. All right. So we're gonna do movie club today, and did I rewatch Ambulance? Hell no. I already saw this movie. I'm the one who picked this movie.
Yeah.
But then I started, asking myself, do I remember anything from Ambulance? And the answer is also, hell no. Turns out this movie is incredibly forgettable, in my opinion. I mean, it must. I'm not even saying it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I sat down and watched the fucking piece of shit. I can't even tell you half the stuff that happened. I don't remember. I don't remember. So, I mean, I remember pieces of it, flashes of it. That being said, you watched it last night.
I did. I'm fresh. I watched it. The credits rolled, and I went to bed. That was how soon
and now you're here. So it's literally your most recent memory.
It is, yeah.
So we're going to do this episode of Movie Club today. We're going to talk about Ambulance. You're going to get two perspectives. Somebody who forgot they saw this film as somebody who watched it last night.
Yes.
I did print out a plot synopsis to remind me what happens. It's going to jog my memory. Usually I just recall off the top of my head, but I can't do that this time. But maybe it'll come back to me as we start talking about it.
Yeah.
But as the person who saw this movie recently, super familiar with it still, what's your takeaway on Ambulance? What do you think about it?
The star of the show for me, I was very happy I watched this, if only for the way they fucking move that camera in this movie. I'm watching it going, this has to be, how are you doing this without it's a drone, right? And it was. I watched the behind the scenes, and basically this movie was Michael Bay met a kid who knew how to use a really advanced drone and was like, oh, the shit we could do with this. Like they had drones that would have a GoPro on it, whatever, or then, sometimes shots require a huge drone that holds a red camera or something. This was a really small drone that could hold a really big camera. Somehow they got that to work. And so, yeah, this 20-something-year-old kid showed Michael Bay, hey, with this watch, I'm going to go over the skyscraper and then dip down the side of the skyscraper and then go like that. And he's like, oh, we can shoot a whole movie like this. So they did. And so that was the exciting part of Ambulance for me, is how the fuck did you get that shot? I got to watch that again, I don't know how I would feel about it if I didn't have any kind of filmmaking, desire or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was watching this going ooh, how did you get that? So that was
I don't remember any drone shots.
Because you wouldn't know. No,
I'm like thinking like, what were the cool drone shots in this movie?
Yeah. No, but you wouldn't know. That's the thing is like, you think about a drone shot, okay, what, high above the city, and then maybe it goes down the skyscraper. There's a few of those in there. But no, even them in the, like, racing through the parking garage, it's racing alongside them, and then it's, like, going between pillars, like, whoa, 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 following these guys, and that's a drone. Like, they just used it in the parking garage, or, you know, they used it in a lot of different ways that aren't conventional. You know, just going down the road, it's alongside the car, and then it whips in front of it, you know. You'd be surprised, actually. You might enjoy, like, watching the behind-the-scenes stuff on this. I had to watch that. I was so curious when it was over. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I told you going into this movie weeks ago that I really, I remember being impressed with the way they filmed the car chases, and mostly just the locations. That it was all, like, parking lots, parking structures, the convention center, just all these, like, regular locations in Los Angeles. A lot of them we've been to, so they were very familiar to us. And it was like they're doing like all of these like stunt car chases and stuff, and it's just like they're just in a parking lot. Like anybody could be filming this stuff.
You kind of told me you had that thought when you originally saw it, and I really did enjoy. It was what you said, which is basically use every part. You know, Italians when they use tomatoes, they use every part of the tomato. They get their money's worth out of every tomato. This movie was the tomato equivalent of filmmaking, where they got the LA Convention Center, and that was like 10 locations. The movie starts where we're gonna go into this bank, you know, thing. I mean, I guess I'm jumping ahead.
Go into it.
But you know, let's pull into the parking thing at the bank, and then we'll start there. That's the LA Convention Center. Then they leave and go. They're gonna drive down to the convention center, and then they're back in the convention center. If you know LA, you're like, you guys keep going to the same place.
Yeah, I remember having the same thought. I was like, this movie, you're portraying like you're driving all across Los Angeles. You're like in 2 blocks.
Yeah,
you're circling 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Let's get into the plot of it. The movie, it's about a guy. He's a war veteran. His name is Will Sharp, and you find out early in the movie that his wife needs surgery, and it's gonna cost like $200,000 or something like that, $230,000. It's America. Come on, who's got that kind of money?
It really is funny. Just to say real quick, it is funny how many plots of movies we make here center around how shit our healthcare stuff. Like this is like, I need $200,000 for this surgery. Like the whole fucking series Breaking Bad is built on that premise. It's like he does all that because his cancer treatment is so much. You know, it's like, fuck.
America, when are we going to learn our lesson? If we don't provide free healthcare, we're creating a generation of super criminals. I mean, you got this army dude robbing banks. You got Walter White, you know, providing meth for the whole country.
It's too much.
That really, like every action movie, half the action movies would lose their plot if we just gave people free healthcare.
That's what I'm saying. So actually, maybe it's not. You know, good movies might go away. I don't know.
He reaches out to his brother, his adoptive brother, because it's like it's these 2 guys in the poster here. Jake Gyllenhaal and this other dude. I don't remember his name.
He has I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like
It's not on that paper.
Yeah, I'll get it for you, but it's not. I love this actor. He was in the new Watchmen. He was in Matrix Resurrections. I really like him. Cannot pronounce his name. I'll find out.
Yeah. And his brother's a lifelong criminal, and he basically invites him to take part in a bank heist for like $32 million. This movie, at this point, I remember they're just like, they go from like, oh, my wife needs surgery, to I'm talking to my brother. Yeah, we're going to rob a bank. Let's do it. And I was like,
really fast.
This is moving so fast. I almost felt conflicted. It's not like I didn't like it, but I was like, this is almost leaving the realm of reality, but that's okay for me. I was like, all right, this is just a fast-moving movie, but man, these guys don't give a fuck about like any nuance whatsoever.
Yeah, I couldn't decide if that was like, guys, take a minute to, like, no one even considers should we do this or not. It is like, get in the thing and we're gonna go rob this bank. Part of me was bugged by that, and part of me was like, maybe that's playing it more in reality, where he shows up and just gets, you know, fucking roped into this thing, and there isn't that, you know, you don't have that nuance. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, what are we doing? You know, I don't know. I couldn't decide what I thought about that.
Yeah, honestly, the movie kind of it really does like deal in cliches. I think because they're preparing for this bank heist, and then you kind of switch gears and you're learning about this cop and this bank teller who he has a crush on.
Yeah.
And so this cop, his name is Officer Zach. He goes in to ask this girl out on a date, which honestly, this sounds like a high schooler wrote this at this point. Like,
yeah, that was kind of, yeah.
So the guy needs money for his wife's surgery, and his brother is a lifelong criminal, so they decide to rob a bank. But while they're doing that, a cop walks in to ask a girl out on a date.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I think a shootout occurs. And I'm trying to think, like, does the crew get killed? Honestly, sorry, guys, I don't remember. Does the crew get killed in this shootout?
A lot of them do. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, many of them. Most of them? All of them? Yeah. Once the other cop outside notices, like, yo, something's going on, it turns into an exchange of gunfire. And it's all, a lot of them just get sloppy. Some of them get shot. Another dude that's like wearing his Birkenstocks to the robbery. He's just kind of like, taking stuff out of the lock boxes. He walks outside and the escape van ends up running him over. So his legs are like a fucking pretzel. That was a kind of, I wasn't prepared for that part. It was like, oh, fuck, that guy's legs. Ooh.
Damn.
Did not look good.
I need to rewatch this movie. Sounds good.
But yeah, so they make a lot of shit mistakes. But
well, I remember that Jake Gyllenhaal and the main character Danny and Will, they basically like retreat to and again, I think it's the LA Convention Center. They retreat to like a parking garage.
Yeah, that's where it is. Yep.
And that cop there, Officer Zach, he's like there to like stop them. It's a real tense moment. They end up like shooting him, or he gets shot somehow.
Yeah. Oh no. How did that happen? No. He tackles Jake Gyllenhaal. The cop tackles Jake Gyllenhaal, and I forget his actual name in the movie.
Will.
Yeah, fires at him, and they're all just like, "Well, you just did that?" It's like, well, yeah, he was tackling you. It was kind of like everyone kind of regrets. It's like, well, okay, we didn't know we were killing cops. I guess it was like maybe not needed to go that far in that moment, but so yeah, they're trying to.
Yeah. And wait, isn't there? There's another there's a paramedic subplot as well, right? Isn't there a girl who works on an ambulance and they're setting that up too?
Yes. Yeah.
You have to remind me, what was her issue in the movie? I remember she had like a problem or something. Was it just like she's tired of guys, or she has a problem with her boyfriend or something?
Something like that. Oh, now I'm blanking.
Oh, her boyfriend's like a doctor or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. Shit. I can't remember that part.
Well, I watched this movie 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Rocco just went to the bathroom during that. Well, I mean, y'all can see where this is going. Officer Zach gets shot. They're in a parking garage. They just robbed a bank. The cops are closing in on them. And this EMT ambulance is in the parking garage too, so they end up hijacking it. And they bring Officer Zach into the ambulance because they don't just want to let him die. And also, I think they have a conscience, right? They're like, well, if we let this guy die, then we're really fucked. So
yeah.
We never set out to kill a cop or anything.
Yeah. That wasn't part of their goal.
Yeah. So they're in this ambulance, and then the movie kind of just kicks into the second act with, it just turns into a big police chase.
Yeah, that's the whole movie. And it's always kind of the shifting dynamic of, I think even when they pull the cop into the ambulance, I think even Jake Gyllenhaal's like, gotta leave him. I don't know what to tell you, whereas Yaya's kind of like, or whatever his name is kind of like, he's the one with more of a conscience here. It's just kind of like, I can't leave that, can't leave him here. And that's kind of shifting through the whole movie, is like Jake Gyllenhaal's going crazier and crazier, and Yaya's talking to the nurse, just like every now and then says something to the effect of we maybe we can get out of this, maybe we can, it's not clear how far they're going to go with it. Anyway.
Yeah, and there's the drama happening in the ambulance is basically they're trying to save this cop's life, and they're going through all the medical procedures. So I think they do a defibrillator on him at one point. They try to initiate like a blood transfusion. Basically, they're trying to do all of these like medical procedures on a cop while they're in the middle of like a high-speed car chase. Which is pretty cool. But things are getting progressively worse, and kind of as you said, Jake Gyllenhaal is becoming like increasingly unhinged as this is going on.
Yeah, which I actually thought was entertaining because at one point she the nurse tries to get away. She hits him with a fire extinguisher to try to get away. She antiques the other guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's when you kind of learn. It walks that line of like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal is truly like deranged, but also kind of like is maybe a little too silly, where he's going like, "This is Kashmir. That felt a little like Disney Channel comedy a little bit. I was like, maybe scale that back a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah, I did feel like as the movie went on, it kind of started like, I don't know if it's like indulging in the silliness of the premise.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I felt like I was enjoying the movie less and less as it went on, and I didn't feel like I needed to be. I felt like I could stick with this movie, but I almost feel like you guys are getting bored with your movie here.
Yeah.
And you're like adding all this like silly stuff to spice it up.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like taking me out of it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I was enjoying it the whole time, but I totally get that sense too, where it was kind of like, well, we can't just do this. Yeah, I definitely sensed that they were kind of like not taking it seriously more as it went on.
Yeah. About halfway in the movie, they, one of these, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Danny, he's a lifelong criminal, and he has like basically like a criminal mentor. Character named Poppy.
Yeah.
And they call this Poppy guy for help. Like, yo, Poppy, we need help getting away from the cops.
Yeah.
And Poppy offers to help them for like $8 million, like a big cut of the money. And I'm trying to remember, I feel like Poppy had all these crazy plans. I remember like they fill a ambulance with like machine guns and bombs at one point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they send a car. They have like a dude driving in. They have people driving in vehicles that like they put a brick down on the gas and then they jump out. And it's got like a dummy in the driver's seat, and it's just gonna fire a Gatling gun. So they're trying to shoot the driver, but it's just a dummy, and it's just it was like kind of like the car chase version of Home Alone.
Yeah, Michael Bay doing some Kevin McAllister shit.
Yeah,
out of the streets of L.A.
I was gonna say too, with their whole like posse and all that.
Yeah.
What I thought was funny is like, there's the head dude, Poppy's over.
Yeah.
That's the head dude, but then he had like a second in command guy, like a bald dude, and it was so funny to me because that second that guy's like barely in the movie. He's like a glorified extra.
Yeah.
He was the main villain in the Crank movies. Like,
really?
He was the head dude.
That dude? Like, I'm gonna fuck you up so good.
Yeah,
like that guy?
Yeah, and it was just weird watching this. Like, man, you were like the lead dude, and that like you barely have a line in here. It's kind of like go do that. Go get me this. I'm like, hey, I wonder if he you know what I mean? It's almost like the same gang and all that stuff, but he's like second fiddle now. So I wonder how he felt on the set.
Is this in the Crank universe? It'd be great if
Crankiverse.
Jason Statham showed up and like kicked the ambulance. He's like hanging from a helicopter, like, you okay down there in the ambulance?
I've got an ambulance for you. I'm gonna need an ambulance. Wait, this is the wrong one.
Did they ever make Crank 3, or did they just end it 2?
Yeah,
2 was such a flop.
I think it kind of was.
The original Crank is one of like the best movies ever made.
I love the original.
Crank is awesome. What an achievement for independent movies.
Yeah.
So they end up making their way like through the Los Angeles River, and eventually they make their way to Poppy's warehouse. I did want to say, and I've said this like a ton of times, but this whole movie is filmed in parking lots. And as a filmmaker, I felt really inspired to see you don't need to rent a whole highway. You don't need to be the Matrix and build 19 miles of a fake highway to do a cool car chase. Because I felt the car chases in this movie were exciting and fun to watch, even though I could tell, like, you set up a fruit stand in a parking lot and crash through it, and you're just zooming around with a drone.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I feel like if you're an aspiring filmmaker and you want to, hey, how do you do action movies relatively cheap. This isn't a low-budget movie. This is not like a cheap movie.
No, but
by Hollywood standards,
relatively kind of, but yeah.
By Hollywood standards, it is. And by the way, I read that this movie actually like really flopped.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that until.
I think it was, I want to say like 80 million, something like that, to make, and it made like 7.
Yeah, it was actually, the movie was 40 million to make.
40 million, okay.
Relatively against other movies, that's pretty good considering it has some good actors in it. It's not like they just got nobodies or anybody, but like that. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, but still didn't make that.
Yeah, it did make like 7 or 8 million. So not the biggest success, not the biggest budget movie.
Yeah.
But I still think like very inspiring to an up and coming action filmmaker.
Yeah.
You'll see like, oh, this is a good template for how I can film some like cool car chases.
Yeah.
So when they get to Poppy's warehouse, Poppy's going to solve all their problems. Poppy's going to take care of them. But he wants them to leave the injured police officer behind. Like, that's the deal. Just leave the money, leave the ambulance, walk away.
Like, he's seen all their shit. Like, they can't let him.
Clearly, they're going to kill this cop.
Yeah.
And this whole movie, Will, the main character, he's just doing this to save his wife. He's not a bad guy. He doesn't want to be a criminal. And this is like a moral hurdle that is just one that a threshold he's not willing to cross. And so he basically says he's not going to leave the cop. And in the final act of the movie, it turns into a shootout between Will and like all of the bad guys in Poppy's warehouse. And this is kind of the final confrontation between him and his brother Danny too, right? Because Jake Gyllenhaal, he doesn't care. He's like, just let them keep the cop. Like, let's just do our thing.
Yeah. He's done.
Well, as you might suspect, Poppy and the criminals are defeated, and Jake Gyllenhaal, is he injured and dies at the end of this movie?
Spoiler alert. So during that shootout at Pappy's place, that's the official name of their headquarters. Mm-hmm. The nurse is like, I have to fucking get out of this, and she gets one of their handguns.
Oh, okay.
And when the door opens, she fires, and she actually shoots Will. So Will is like, oh fuck, I'm bleeding out. And then Jake Gyllenhaal shows up like, yo, who shot Will? Like, who shot him? And she's like, I don't know. And then that's where it becomes tense, because they drive off in the ambulance, and he's going like, yo, there's a handgun in here. This is the same gun that shot him. Like, who fired this gun? Did the fucking cop do it that we've been trying to help? I'm going to kill this fucking cop. And then she's like, no, I shot him. No, shut up. You're covering for him. Shut up. It turns into this tense thing. And then, finally their ambulance gets surrounded, and he's like, I'm going out guns blazing. And Jake Gyllenhaal opens the doors, he's going to shoot, but he gets shot through the chest. And actually, Will did it. Will he had a big gun in there.
That's right. Danny. At the last minute.
Puts his brother down.
He takes his brother out.
He goes Fredo style.
And then they do this classic. This is my biggest pet peeve. And this is something I've only seen recently in action movies of the last few years. And tell me what you think about this, Rocco. I don't know if you agree or disagree. Lately, I feel like our action movies are not about a clear good guy. It's usually about a normal guy who finds himself in a bad situation and he's perceived to be the bad guy. I'm talking about movies like this, movies like Baby Driver. We're rooting for a guy, but he's a criminal. Mm-hmm. And the action is like he's trying to get away from the cops.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when the heist is done, they always capture the main character and they put him on trial. And they fucking let him off.
Yeah. Are you thinking about Baby Driver?
Baby Driver and this movie. This is a theme in our modern action movies where we're following an anti-hero and it's a guy that we like, but he's committing crimes. They arrest him for the crimes and then they don't punish him for the crimes that we just watched him commit. Like, we just watched this guy rob a bank.
Yeah.
We just watched this guy shoot a cop. We just watched this guy go on a car chase through all of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It was cool to watch. It was exciting. This guy broke the fucking law.
Yeah.
I'm not it's just a pet peeve of mine, because not like I want to see like, oh, wouldn't it be better if the guy was sent to jail? But I just feel like, wouldn't it make more sense logically? Isn't it a more realistic story if this guy goes to jail?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
This is just a theme in action movies. Like they never, they always have to end it on like, well, that's all done. The sun's setting. The girl's there. It's like, you want to get in the car and drive off into the sunset? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. To be fair, Fast and Furious, that's what this was looking like. And then he was like, I'm driving to Mexico. I spend my life 1 mile at a time, or whatever the fuck. No freaky court shit in that movie.
But he gets away with it in Fast and Furious too, right?
Yeah,
they're criminals, and none of them ever receive punishment for their crimes.
Right. Yeah.
This is the theme in modern action movies. Yeah. So Will is shot. He's dying. They send him into surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. Cam, the girl from the ambulance, she secretly takes the money from the heist and gives it to Will's wife, Amy. Okay. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
That's good for Amy. She's going to live. Cam, you're officially an accomplice in this bank robbery heist. You should go to jail as well.
Yeah.
But Will survives the surgery. He comes out of it. And the police are like going to arrest him. But then the cop, Zach, who was shot the whole time, is like, no.
Yeah.
That guy actually saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also the guy who shot you. And he's also the guy who robbed a fucking bank. And he's also the guy who created all this like chaos and damage throughout all of Los Angeles. How are we just going to let this guy off the hook? Like, nah, I like him. Let him go. I'm the guy who got shot. I say let him go.
Shows you how broken the system is, dude.
It literally makes no sense to me. Shouldn't that be left up to a judge or something? Show me the trial. At least Baby Driver showed me the trial.
That's true.
And then it was a fake ass trial where they're like, nah, let him go.
He was nice to me.
Yeah, he was actually a real great guy. I don't know. How do you feel, viewer? Is this pet peeve to only me? Do you care that these criminals just get to walk at the end of all these movies? I mean, I know we're rooting for them, but I have no problem with your wife got the surgery and you have to go to jail too. But someday you'll get out. But it's like, all right,
they kind of balance the scale there.
Yeah, and he's in jail. He's like working out. He's like, this sucks, but I made my choice and now I have to live with it.
Yeah.
That's what I want from a movie. I made my choice and now I have to live with it. Because I feel like I made my choice, but phew, somehow it just all worked out for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't in the moment like, this is bugging me, but it does. I feel like they do that a lot. You're right.
Yeah, only on reflection, I'm like, this is a theme. Like, do something else.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that was Ambulance, and I really apologize because I did see this so long ago. I did forget all the nuance. I remember my feelings about watching the movie and like my thoughts about the filmmaking of it. But as far as like the story elements and the plot and like the twists and turns along the way, just the little details that make watching a movie so rich, none of that stuff really had a lasting effect on me. 2 months later, I've watched movies before Ambulance that I'm still thinking about that I can recall very vividly. I've watched movies since that have left me with a lasting impression. This movie is summer blockbuster.
Yes.
It's like Ambulance isn't going to change your life. It's one of those movies where you'll remember it someday, but you won't remember anything about it. Yeah, I saw that movie where they were stuck in an ambulance for like an hour going through the whole city. Same way I feel about Phone Booth. I know Colin Farrell was in the phone booth. I know there was a sniper, had a scope on him the whole time. I don't remember what the sniper wanted. I don't remember what they're talking about in that phone call.
He was mad about his kids or something.
Some shit. His kids couldn't afford a surgery or something. It all comes down to the fucking healthcare system here in America.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. I'm trying to find. I wanted to find this for you, Derek, because this was actually a real key to this movie here.
Oh, I'm excited. What's this going to be, everybody?
There was a behind-the-scenes clip released that actually leaked out before the movie even came out. Did you ever see this?
No. I can't wait to see what this is.
When the cop cars were getting blown up, I think this is when like Pappy's dudes show up.
Oh!
Have you ever seen this? Okay, so
all right, show it to me first.
Okay, so here they go. Just watch everything in this clip. Boom, boom, boom. Watch. Look how much the crew has to fucking dodge. Oh, now it's a fucking ad. Anyway.
So the camera is on a dolly, and it's filming an ambulance crashing through vehicles coming right at them. Right at them. Get the fuck out of the way. It's going to hit you.
Yeah. That scene is in the movie, and you see cops like, oh, like trying to get out of the way, and that was genuine actor reaction.
Stuntman.
Because that car was flying at them at great speeds. And anyway, I was curious if you had ever seen it, because a lot of people, there was a whole conversation about how this was this was irresponsible of Michael Bay. There were all these, places online going like, yo, look, no CG here, the action is real. And then, all these people involved in filmmaking were like, that is not a safe set whatsoever. There are literally people dodging that car. But that's in the movie. They were fine, and you got good footage, so you got to use it. But there was a whole moral argument after this movie was filmed, where it was like, you can't be that run and gun when you're blowing up that many cars, So I was curious if you had seen that footage. Cause,
I had not seen that, and, I'm conflicted on that because I go either way because, honestly, it's like I appreciate the effort put in to make action movies, and there is an element of danger, and that's what entertainment is, right? When you go to the circus and you see the trapeze artist and they're like, okay, now we're going to take the net away.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is life and death.
Yeah.
Like if this trapeze artist falls, this is going to have serious consequences, and that's why you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
That's why it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
That may be an archaic, old-fashioned form of entertainment, like seeing somebody risk their life for my entertainment. But when you're doing an action movie, that's part of the charm of capturing it. So to me, it's like, well, if you have a bunch of people, and they're artists, and they're stunt artists, and these are people who set out to make an action movie as a work of art, and they've all agreed that we're going to go through this process, and we're going to expose ourselves to a level of danger, but we know what we're signing up for, and we want to do this because we think it's important to the art form we're trying to create. I have so much respect for that. Wow, you're going to put some real stakes on the line to create entertainment. Mm-hmm. What sucks about it is Ambulance a work of art? If somebody died on the set of Ambulance, would it be worth it? And I think that's where this controversy arises from.
What just happened? It changed battery pack?
The camera told us to change the battery pack.
Isn't running on power?
I think that's a sign to wrap up this episode.
Well, all I was going to say was, like, I agree with that, what you're saying, if everyone is in on it.
Yeah.
I think if that car is like, barely dodging, like, catering people, that was you fucked up.
Yeah.
But if everyone there is like, yo, we're stunt team, we know this might get gnarly, but we're going to, it's all choice. The trapeze artist decides to do that. Okay.
That's how I feel.
That's your art, it just depends.
On that set, if they signed all the approvals, if they had the permits, if they had the safety experts there, if everybody there was a trained stunt professional, hey, guys, we're going to crash some cars. Things are about to get fucking crazy. Stay alert.
Yeah.
Then I feel like you're adults. You're all here to do it. But if it's like, hey, Michael, I'm not trained to do this. Shut the fuck up, PA.
Yeah.
Stand there, hold the fucking camera, and don't get killed.
Yeah.
Then it's a little problematic.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there, so I don't know what it was like.
We don't know. We're speculating.
Yeah.
We're L.A., Los Angeles.
Whoa.
Ting.
All right, now we're going to do popcorn shakers.
Yeah.
I picked this movie, and so I'll start with my popcorn shakers. I'm going to give this a solid 3 out of 5. This movie is short. This movie the pacing is really good. I think we can agree on that. Whether you think it's a fun movie, whether you think it's a shitty movie, even if you're sitting there being like, end this fucking shit.
Yeah.
It will end.
They do.
They gets to the end pretty quickly.
Yep.
You're like, shoot this guy. Oh, they shot him. Blow this up. Oh, they blew it up. Wrap it up. They wrapped it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Pacing is good.
Yep.
The story is a little stupid, and I think the only really points I deduct from this movie is the story is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And to some people, that's not even going to be a problem because you're like, it's a movie about guys who rob a bank and get stuck in an ambulance. I'm not expecting Citizen Kane.
Yeah, yeah.
So 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, for me, that I agree with you on the story. I have no argument there. But I loved the filmmaking of this. Again, using fucking, like, slinging the camera across the bank into the dude's face. I mean, they hurl the camera like a javelin in this. The drone is going in and out of the pillars. It's going. I love the way it was told, and I love a good canted angle. There's plenty of those. No, but the way that it's executed was so entertaining to me that I'm gonna actually bump it up to a 4. I really enjoyed it, but again, agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed that side of it so much that I would watch this 5 more times just for that.
And honestly,
so, I'm gonna give it a high.
I had a feeling you would really like this movie.
Yeah,
and so I was excited to recommend it. And I knew that my problems with the storytelling decisions were not gonna bother you. Yeah. I knew that going in.
Well, there's some movies that are like that for me. I don't necessarily love the story in like Mad Max Fury Road that came out. I'm kind of like whatever on the story on that. But again, the execution is so entertaining to me that it's like I'll put it on again. Sometimes things can balance out for me where I'll forgive something being.
Yeah. And I just feel, where I'm coming from is sometimes they make logical jumps and it's like, I could see how these characters could find themselves in the situation, but you just kind of assumed a lot of stuff without kind of like showing it. Yes. And so this movie did that one too many times for me. So it loses a point.
Sure. I could totally see that.
I think that the movie would be better if they just explained stuff a little bit more logically, but maybe they felt like we don't want to waste time. Like just fucking step on the gas pedal and go.
Yeah, a little too much throwing that stuff to the wind, but I still enjoyed it.
Sean's not here, but I think he would have felt the same way we do. Probably between a 3 and a 4.
I think he would have given it a 3. Yeah.
I don't think he'd like it any less than me. I don't think he'd like it any more than you.
I'll speak for him. This starts off the kid. They've got a kid and they're fucking miserable because they can't afford the bills. No thanks. I don't want to think about an ambulance because then I think about what if I got injured.
I spot on. I have nothing to add to that.
I don't need to be thinking about that.
Next week is going to be Rocco's pick. What are we going to be watching?
Okay, normally I am going to present to you what was never given to me, and that is a choice.
Oh, Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, wait, why were we talking about that recently?
You just quoted it. That's the quote from the movie.
Oh, is that from it?
That's what Lestat says before he turns him into a vampire.
No, I was quoting something else. What was it? Not that. What is never me, and that was a choice. Don't they say that in The Matrix, too?
Well, they stole it from Anne Rice.
Wow. No, there's something else that anyway, whatever. What do you think? Now, factor in Sean will be here next time.
Uh-oh.
There's either we revisit, because I don't remember if it was actually good or just campy shit, the Kevin Bacon classic, where there are threats underneath our feet. Tremors.
Oh!
Or a movie with respecting an actor who just passed away, the great James Caan, with a title that sums up what Sean loves in Movie Club, Misery. What do you think, Sean? What do you think would be the better choice?
I don't know. Sean has a history with the Paul Sheldon owned.
Yeah.
That might be a plus. That might be a negative. It might bring up bad memories. Yeah. Me personally, I'm leaning more towards Tremors, but I love both those movies, so it's your call, whatever you want.
Well, respect to the great James Caan, but he's gone, so he's not even going to watch this episode. Let's do Tremors.
All right.
And we'll see if it's... I remember enjoying the shit out of it when I was like a kid watching it on the Sci-Fi Channel, but is it actually good, or was I a fucking weird kid? That's what we're going to find out.
Well, come back. Tremors. Big worms.
big worms. They ain't no small. You're gonna need a bigger ambulance for these worm wounds holes.
Right. See ya, everybody. Next time on Movie Club.